cop and someone who was familiar with the area to say, now that we know this Elantra is one of the cars in question, if they leave in this direction based upon surveillance of a lot of the residences and businesses, then they're probably going to Washington State. You put it all together. These cops were genius. And you know what? They kept their mouths shut. They didn't care what the public was saying. They didn't care they were being called the Keystone Cops. They were on it, and they were on it. Idaho State Police were in that home on November 13th, the day the case was reported. And, of course, the cross-country trip. Now, we know that the genealogical DNA was used first. That's not as good as the real DNA. There was a sheath for the knife that was used, and on the button of that sheath is male DNA, which they matched to the father's garbage. And we can do that in law enforcement. But now I guarantee you they have one-on-one DNA of Brian Kohlberger with the victim, which is 1 in a trillion. So you've got to explain why your forensic DNA is there. Now, I want to say one more thing. I think that because the sheath is in the room with the two young girls who were in bed together, I think it was Kaylee and Madison, that maybe they were his first victims, because he would have taken the knife and taken it out of the sheath in that bedroom. And then it was, I believe, Xana Kernodle and Ethan Chapman. Apparently, Xana was out of the bed. So, you know, there was some fighting there. They found her body not in bed, but Ethan's body was in the bed. The bottom line here is you've got the evidence, you've got law enforcement at its best, state, local, federal, and you've got a psycho. But don't misunderstand me. There's no insanity defense here. This guy's too smart for that, and he is facing the death penalty.
Well, the last thing I would say, and I agree with your comments about the police, everybody was saying, yeah, the Keystone Cops, oh, they're not on it. They were all over it. Another thing, the location data for Kohlberger's phone, it actually went dead at 2:47 a.m. the night of the murders, and it came back on at 4:48 a.m. on State Highway 95 south of Moscow. So obviously that was done on purpose. Judge, honestly, you just nailed this case. And to the cops and the law enforcement and the FBI that sometimes earn our criticism, when they do a great job, we're lucky to have them. God
bless them.
Amen. I agree. We
are so lucky to have them. And you're right. He turned off that phone because he was smart enough to understand it would implicate him. He is as smart as they come.